Hello, YouTube family. Please like, subscribe, and share my YouTube channel. Sunrise for All-in-One.
Welcome back to Alternative Authority Content. And in this video, we are going to be talking about a certain kind of authoritative video, creating screencast video content. Now, this kind of content is actually very popular with marketers because you can literally show people what's going on your screen while you narrate at the same time. It's very effective in being able to communicate concepts. It's very effective in being able to show things that are technical in nature. Now, this kind of video content is going to be advantageous to you, especially when you've got to do something where you need someone to look over your shoulder and to follow you. And for you to have to explain it over and over again would be ineffective. However, it becomes the kind of content that, again, positions you as an expert when you are able to explain to someone how to do something that would be extremely difficult otherwise for them to do and understand on their own. Now, it's especially helpful in creating authoritative content when you use your PowerPoint presentation slides. As a matter of fact, the video that you're watching right now is created with PowerPoint presentation slides. It's also a screencast video. So as you can see, it's a powerful concept for you to be able to literally dictate to the viewer what they can accomplish by watching what it is that you do. Now, in some cases, you can choose to do a screen share video while appearing in it at the same time. And just so that you'll get an idea of what this looks like, let's take a look. And as you can see, it's a very popular thing for video creators to be able to do, to be able to appear in their actual video. Now, of course, to be able to do a screen share video, you will need some kind of software that does accomplish this. And we suggest that you take a look at Camtasia Studio, which was mentioned earlier, as well as ScreenFlow for Mac. Now, there are other substitute screen share programs. However, these two are the gold standard, and they allow you to both edit as well as create, and they also give you the option of being able to create audio at the same time. Now, whether or not you're talking about Camtasia for the PC, you are talking about a pretty stiff price tag, as you can see here. You're also talking about pretty much the same thing when you're looking at ScreenFlow for the Mac, depending on what your budget is. Now, there are some substitutes that you can use until you're able to get these programs. There is the program Screencast-O-Matic that's available, as well as another one which is called Cam Studio. Once again, you probably ought to consider these as substitutes until you can afford to get either Camtasia or ScreenFlow, depending on which system that you are using. Now, one thing to be aware of is that some marketers are actually using Google Hangouts to record their screen sharing videos. And now, when you do that, though, what you need to be aware of is that there is a second step. You are going to need to download that video from YouTube, and then you'll need to edit it either in YouTube or in some other program. But the screen sharing function is available inside of Google Hangouts. And as you can see, it's a very popular function to be used inside of Google Hangouts in many cases, and many marketers are actually using it, as well as many video creators who use Google Hangouts in order to create their videos. So creating authoritative content using video does not require you to appear on screen. In fact, you can create videos where you are showing what it is that you're presenting. You can show what it is that you are doing on your computer screen, and you can literally show whatever you'd like to from your PC. That means then that creating video can be whatever you want that will get your customer or your prospect to take action, or to give them the information that they want to position you as an expert. What's most important in a screencast video is that you are prepared before you start, and that you edit it appropriately so that your viewer will understand what it is that you are communicating and that they will want to see more of your content. In most cases, you'll want to make sure that your video is around about 5 minutes or less so that you will not strain people's attention span. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back to Alternative Authority Content, and in this video we are going to be discussing creating live video as your authoritative content. And this is just another way of you being able to use the video medium in order to communicate valuable information to your subscribers, the valuable information to your followers, your tribe, or anyone else that will eventually become your buyer. And one of the best ways to do that, to create that live video or create video in front of a live audience, is to use Google Hangouts. Using Google Hangouts on air, you will be able to broadcast your information using Google. All that you'll really need is your webcam, and you'll need the audio equipment that we talked about before, and then you will literally be able to broadcast, share your screen, to be able to speak, to be able to communicate. Anything that you can do in a live presentation, you'll be able to do on Google Hangouts. And it's a great way to be able to create, again, authoritative content, to position yourself as an expert, and to be spontaneous in the moment as you know your content extremely well. Now, in using Google's system, you can either use the webcam as we talked about, or you can also use a related system to Google Hangouts inside of YouTube called Wirecast. This will involve being inside of YouTube using their live streaming application that, again, relies on a program or software piece called Wirecast. You'll literally be using your camera, and you can record with multiple people in multiple places. It's a very handy application when you want to create live video in a different way, again, that will make it easy for your buyer or your prospect to know the content well enough for them to make a purchase. And whether you use Google Hangouts or whether you use Wirecast, it's a great way to get people to see your content. And especially when you book an expert guest, this is a way for you to be able to display the activity of your guest as well as yourself, and you'll be able to literally display your interaction with each other. And this is a powerful way, once again, to be able to prove your expert status. Now, what's important when you use Google Hangouts is to make sure that you understand the logistics of the dashboard or the Google Hangout Studio ahead of time. Now, it's obviously beyond the scope of this course to be able to give you an extended tutorial on the inside of the Google Hangouts dashboard, but you will want to make sure that you familiarize yourself with it before you go live and before you start recording with a live guest, or before you start recording before a live audience. So make sure that you are exercising, make sure that you are well versed in the way to use the dashboard. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back to Alternative Authority Content, and in this video, we are going to discuss creating information products as your authority content. Now, it's typically assumed that content must be given away in the form of a blog, or in the form of a video, or even in the form of a podcast, in order to attract an audience that will eventually buy your products or service. And of course, that is not always going to be the case with every marketer and or entrepreneur. There are other ways for you to use authority content in order to draw people into a marketing funnel that will eventually buy your products or service. Now, some marketers choose to sell their expertise in the form of information products. Now, when we talk about an information product, we're basically talking about you getting a series of audios or videos, or even a PDF or a book or a binder or something that will allow you to learn something new that you didn't know before, or something that you want to sharpen your skill on. Now, the same PDFs, the same MP3s that we've been talking about, the same MP4s that we've been talking about, or even PDFs that we've been talking about with respect to the content creation process can be bundled together with similar themed content and then subsequently sold. And this is what an information product is. It's basically all of the same content that we've been talking about creating, except we're going to bundle it together. We're going to make sure it's relevant according to a theme, and then we're going to sell it to the people who are actually looking for the information. And there are sites like udemy.com and Skillshare that allow people to post this content and then sell it. Udemy is a place where anyone can actually take a course on anything that there is an instructor that has posted a course on here. And of course, not only can you learn, you can actually teach. So anything that you have a skill in or you like to teach, particularly in your area of expertise, you can literally place that information in the form of a course and have it available to people on Udemy in order to buy, and you can actually be paid in order to sell it. There are sites that are similar to Udemy, like Skillshare, that has the same kind of feel, same kind of arrangement that allow you to take your content, place it on the site, and allow other people who are in need of that content in order to buy it. Now, what's most important about this process is that you are establishing that a person is willing to pay for content and that they're interested in your subject matter. So that means that if you can put together content that people are going to be interested in, and you've determined and you've established that they are willing to pay, well, then you will then know that this is not going to be someone who's just interested in kicking the tires or just wasting your time as a prospect. They're actually willing to spend real money in order to either accomplish a goal or solve a problem, and they're likely going to be willing to at least evaluate whether or not your product or service is going to fit their needs. Now, the next step in this process is going to be vital, and that is that you're going to want to be ready to collect names and email addresses of those that actually make the purchase. Now, there are ways to do that inside of Udemy. There are ways to do that inside of Skillshare. And even if they're not, you can make sure that this is something that you request people to do. You can ask them to sign up with their name and email address so that they can get more content, more information, so that they can get something that they want bad enough to give you their contact information. This really is the key to making the creation and selling of information products a viable way of being able to get people into your marketing funnel, viewing you as the authority, viewing you as the expert. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back to Alternative Authority Content, and in this video we are going to be discussing the most important aspect of really converting that content into prospects and buyers, and that is collecting contact information. Now, regardless of what form of content you choose to use, even if you choose to use your blog content, primarily written content, video content, or audio content, you want to make sure that you are collecting names and email addresses of people who come in contact with your content. Now, in order to do this, you'll need to have your own autoresponder service like Aweber or GetResponse. Aweber starts with a 30-day trial, which you can sign up for and get started with your autoresponder. Pretty much the same thing is going to be true with GetResponse. You can try it for free. And what you want to do is to go in and set up a list and a form. This is going to be fairly easy to do inside of GetResponse. You're just going to go and create a form here. You're going to choose the template that you want. You're going to save and publish it. And then you're going to grab the HTML code, copy it, and then you're going to add it to your website. Of course, you want to have that page on your website set up with that form so that people can submit their names and email addresses. And when you do that, you want to have that form every place where your visitors are going to see your content. So on every blog page, on every post, a link to it in every video, a link to it at every point at which you have audio, every place where you have content. You want to make sure that people can find a link to the page where they can sign up and put their name and email address in there so that they can become part of your mailing list. And you should be making sure to ask them to join your mailing list, right? Subscribe to your content or download your mobile application in every call to action. At the end of every show, at the end of every webinar, make sure to give them the opportunity and even some incentive. If you need to promise them some kind of free report or even something that is relevant to the broadcast, you want to make sure that you give them a great reason to run over to your form and then sign up so that they can make sure that they don't miss what it is that you are giving them. This is going to be important because when you're putting out your content, you're really creating it in order to get people into your marketing funnel. And if you choose not to collect their names and email addresses, then your content, while it might be great, won't have the desired effect that you want it to have. So collecting contact information is probably one of the most important things that you're going to be doing as you create alternative content. So with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back to Alternative Authority Content. And in this video, we're going to briefly discuss how you select your topics for your content, as well as your subtitles. And really, they're really going to be one and the same. And the most important aspect of this discussion is to make sure that you do so carefully, that you do so with your viewers in mind, that in fact, you do so with your buyers in mind. Now, to be successful with your audio and video content, your posts or your show titles need to be done with a mixture of copywriting and search engine optimization because, first of all, you want people to be excited enough to click on your links as well as being able to find it in the search engines. And just as the case is with blogging, you got to make sure that your titles are such that people want to click them and open them. So your titles should be enticing. They should be exciting. They should reveal some of the mystery. They should not necessarily be written to describe what's happening in the video, but they should be written to describe what the benefit is going to be in the actual content that you are going to be showing them. Now, a significant portion of this will be taken care of by knowing your audience. And it is a step that once you understand what your audience truly wants, what you know what they're truly struggling with, what you know what their goals are, you will be able to create show titles, show content that people want to hear about, that people want to see, that they want to experience, and they will find your content a lot more engaging and get into it faster. So make sure that if you don't know this right now in your niche, make sure that you research and find out what they want to know about. What are they struggling with? What is it that they are trying to do in their lives that you can actually help them with, and that you have a product or a service that will fit the need that they have, and so that it will become the one solution that they can use in order to solve that problem or accomplish that goal. And you want to balance your title creation and your description by making sure that they're both done in a way so that the search engines will want to help people to find them. In other words, make sure that your descriptions are written with your keywords in them. Make sure that they have the enough content in them so that the search engines can tell what your content is about. Remember, you are describing the audio and video, but you're talking about the benefits, not just what's going to be in them. And so you want people to be able to find you according to the problem they're trying to solve, according to the benefit that they need, not just what's in the actual content. And that's going to mean that you want to make sure that you have your main keyword and keyword phrase in the title. Think about what you would want people to search for to find your content. And what kinds of keywords are the people who will buy your product? What kinds of keywords are they using to search for things? Those are the things that you want to create your content about. You want to create your content about the things that people who have the concerns that your customers and prospects have, that they can have them answered by your content. Those keywords, tags, and descriptions are going to be important, because that is what you will want your buyer to use in order to find you. So those keywords, make sure that you do extensive research on them. Make sure that they lead to the buyers and prospects that you want, and then make sure that they are in your titles, descriptions, your tags, and everything else that you can use to indicate what your video is about. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back to Alternative Authority Content. And in this video, we are going to be talking about how you can reach experts in order to interview and make them part of your content. Now, there are several sites and resources that you can use in order to reach authoritative interviewees that will help you to create that authoritative content. Now, make sure that you're reaching out to people well in advance, and that you're doing so with a very professional feel to your request for them to be part of your content. Now, it's a good idea to already have a scheduling software piece available, such as Schedule Once. And Schedule Once will allow you to give your potential interviewee the opportunity to determine when it is that they can be interviewed. And you can have them pick the time that is suitable to them, and that you don't have to go back and forth between them. It's a great way of being able to establish their convenience. In order to find the actual interviewees, you can use sites like Help a Reporter or Haro, Profnet.com, Audible.com with some of the authors that have books there, Amazon Kindle authors like to be interviewed. These are all great places to find guests where you can have people who literally want to be interviewed and want to talk about their area of expertise. And don't be intimidated when someone tells you no. You want to make sure to go beyond that. Make sure to be talking to their press agent. Make sure to be talking to their PR person. Typically, the harder someone is to get, the better the content is that they're actually going to be providing to the people who are going to be your readers, your audience, and your listeners. And so don't give up because someone says no the first time. You want to find out what you could do to make them say yes. What is it that they're looking for in order to do an interview? What is it that they're looking for? And in some cases, you might want to just move on to someone else who's on your list, but don't give up on the high-profile person who's going to be a great fit for your audience and a great fit to give you the kind of authoritative boost that you really want and need. Now, this sort of goes without saying, and if you have to outsource this, this is important. Make sure that your website already has a professional look, and let your potential guests see and hear previous interviews if you already have them. This will give them a comfort level that what they're getting into is going to be worth their time, and that's something that you want to do. You want to make sure that they have the sense, hey, this is going to be a high quality experience. I'm going to look good when I do this with this person. And you want to make sure that you make them feel as if they're going to look better. They're going to be better off for doing the interview with you than if not they don't do it. So look to find high profile interviewees that already have a following or people that can bring a following when you mention their name. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back to Alternative Authority Content. And in conclusion, some final thoughts. Creating authority content does not mean you have to be writing a blog. And of course, that was what this course was really all about showing you. You can also just strictly stick to audio and video, and you don't necessarily have to be tied to a website except to hold the content that you have. The most important thing to do is to create a system for collecting contact information, as well as to be consistent with your subscribers or your listeners. The more you treat your content as an appointment, the more that your attendees and guests will. They will make sure that they are there on time and that they will not miss something that you're doing. Going hand in hand with this thought is that you would be consistent. If you're supposed to do a show on Mondays, make sure you have one every Monday. Don't miss any days. Even if you have to get someone else to do your show, even if you have to get a substitute guest, make sure that there's a show every Monday if that's when you decide you're going to do one. And again, having a website is optional, but it is the only way for you to own your content and to have a place, home base, to collect names and email addresses. Collecting names and email addresses is the key to being able to turn those subscribers, those listeners, those viewers into prospects and buyers. So with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video, or I will see you in another course.
Hello, YouTube family. Please like, subscribe, and share my YouTube channel. Sunrise for All-in-One.